Hello, I am Jorge Sanchez, a veterinarian from the University of Applied Environmental Sciences. I am a specialist in veterinary dermatology and I am currently studying a magister in allergology. Today, I want to tell you something that many people are not very aware about, and we are going to do something very specific, which is to explain what a dermatological consultation is. The dermatological consultation is very special because one of the largest organs is observed, the skin, which is the manifestation of many other objects. There are very few diseases that start directly in the skin, so to do a dermatology you have to do a very extensive, very clear veterinary consultation. Almost always, it takes between an hour to an hour and a half, taking a very good anamnesis and a very good examination of our patient. Sometimes we have to do several tests, not only of the skin, as we are going to see now, but also of the blood, to see how the hormones work, how they are, if there is any infection, if there are anemias, or if there are any kind of problems. Given the complexity of the specialty, we have to fill ourselves with technological tools such as a digital otoscope, a dermatoscope, a good magnifying glass, and light. Also, we need diagnostic tools such as the tests that we must do in the office. It is one of the main topics of why general practitioners do not have an accurate diagnosis. It's because they don't develop their own tests. They take the samples and leave. They send them to the laboratory and there, in the course, they can last between 12 or 7 hours. Meanwhile, mites or other mediators can be lost and at the end of the day, we will not find the necessary information. Today we are going to talk about what is the dermatological consultation and its specific tests. To exemplify what a dermatological consultation is, I have invited my friend, Sharon. She is a cross between a pit bull and a boxer, who lived on the streets for a long time in a situation of abandonment. She has been with us for about 2 years and she already has a diagnosis of actinic dermatitis. So that means the sun inflames her skin. The parts where it seems white become inflamed, and with so much time that she has been on the street, she has already had years that cannot be returned. With the girl Sharon, we are going to start doing the imprint cytology tests. There are two ways, an imprint directly with a sheet and with the acetate tape. But later they are going to do colorations. We are going to do a skin scraping and we are going to look at it under the microscope, and we are going to do a trichography. There we are going to look at it under the microscope. Then we are going to look at the girl's ears, because the ears are a fundamental part of the dermatological consultation. That is why we, dermatologists who specialize in dermatology, look at allergies, ontology, the ears and the skin, because the ear and the skin are almost the same. Well, the first thing we are going to do is to take a trichograph. What is a trichography? It is the study of hair or fur. She has very short fur, so we are going to take some hairs where there is the injury and where there is no skin injury, so that we can see them under a microscope. What are we going to use? A foil, immersion oil, and scissors. The clamp must be without edges and with some rubber to be able to tear them, or if not, with the tips of the fingers. So, first, we put oil on the sheet and we try to get the hairs out of it. We are going to start pulling hairs out of here and gently pluck them out. Even if it doesn't appear in places that are healthy and in places that are not so healthy. They are soaked in oil so that they will not go away and they will not get lost. In various places we find how to do trichography. This is a very specific test, which will tell us if there is any type of contamination, what state in the hair cycle it is in, if we are going to have contamination that is caused by fungi or bacteria, and in some cases we can find a mite. It is a very simple tool, as you can see, but you have to make it and look at it directly under the microscope. Then we look at it. The next test is a cytology test by imprinting. There are two ways to do it. Print it directly on the foil if it is a wet process, or with an acetate tape, which can be seen. They are totally different. What this is going to show us is what type of cellularity, what type of desquamation we are going to find, and very different processes are carried out. At that time, as we do not have any ulcer, scab, or anything wet, we are going to use the acetate tape to be able to determine and take the sample. It is an acetate tape imprinting cytology. Many people, when they come to the office, I say to them, we are going to do a cytology. And they look at me and say, but is not cytology only done in women? No, cytology is the study of cells. It doesn't matter if it's vaginal. An ear cytology, a skin cytology. In this case, we are going to do a skin cytology. So, we look for the places where there is the greatest problem and we start to put the tape and press if it is not wet. This is a very good tool to be able to work. As you can see, here is the material that we are going to find. This material has to be processed. It has to be dyed in order to get as much information as possible. The third sample that we are going to take is from a skin scraping. We are going to use slides, oil, and with the other we are going to do the strapping. So, we are going to use in the same area of suturing the edge of the foil. We are going to start scraping the skin until we get what we need. At this moment, it is not useful to us because we got this pile of fur and we already collected it. So after that fur comes out in the area where it has been left without fur, we already have the material to do the lifting. We lift the crusts that come out and place them on the sheet with mineral oil. In this way, to be able to determine them. This is observed directly under the microscope as well. Those are the three basic samples that should be done. There are many more. There are cytologies by fine needle puncture, aspirated or without aspiration, biopsies, and the others that I told you about blood. Well, from the acetate tape that we take to do a cytology, we have nothing but, in the genetic information attached, the information from the cells attached to the tape. We have to give it color so it can be differentiated. We are going to use quick Romanowski coloring, which is called TIFF-Quick. So, there are three liquids. One is the fixative, which we are not going to use because the acetate tape has already fixed the sample. The second is a red stain that is done for 5 seconds. It is red. And another 5 seconds, 5 to 50 seconds, it is placed in the other. It remains blue. And it goes away. Simply, after washing, we mount it on the slide to be able to see it under the microscope. Is observed under the microscope. As I told you, in the dermatological consultation, the ears should also be observed and looked at. The ears of dogs, unlike ours, have a vertical portion and a horizontal portion. We only have a horizontal position. It is much easier to see. With them, it is necessary to use the appropriate tools, such as digital otoscope, to be able to determine what type of foreign bodies there are. How is it? If it is inflamed or there is a lot of wax in the canal. We are going to check Sharon's ears, and here we begin to see on camera. We found that she has some earwax, she is a bit swollen, she has more earwax, but she doesn't have anything red. She is lacking in bathroom. There we find the horizontal portion, and much lower, if she stays calm, we could see her eardrum, but we will talk about that another time. Other kind of the tests that can be done to determine what our patient is contaminated with are the cultures, to determine what type of fungus there is. With its wrapping, some fur can be pulled from the patient and a culture of this is used. It's called DTM. A sewing is done. You have to put the name, the date in the history that the owner indicates and where the sample was taken to be able to grow them. It can be placed in the environment if we are in hot land or if we are in cold land. We can place them in a laboratory stove to speed up the germination process. Once the fungus has germinated, a white speck appears. We cultivate them and make them the coloration, the one of the liquids, and look at them under a microscope and we will know what type of fungus it is. I hope you recognize now the difference between a general consultation and a dermatological consultation. I wait for you on my social media and I hope you visit me at the Jorge Sanchez Dermatological Center. Thank you so much.